I must go back to when I was really a little girl, and we lived in Crown Heights on Franklin Avenue, 883 Franklin Avenue. We lived on the third floor of that apartment house, and down the street, a block and a half down, it was a hill, down Franklin Avenue. My father had a big store called Ben and Saul. He was in partnership with his favorite friend, Saul Willick, and they had a grocery dairy. Up the street, nearer to Eastern Parkway on the other side of Franklin Avenue, on the corner was Saul and Ben. That was delicatessen. And they were quite famous, Saul and Ben and Saul, in their day, because the fans came out of the subway at Franklin Avenue and Eastern Parkway, and they walked down the hill to Ebbets Field to go to the games. The Dodgers, after all, their home base was Ebbets Field. My father's store was on the way, and they would come into the store, and very often it was in the 30s, in the Depression. They could not afford the hot dog at the stand in the ball field, but they could afford to get a Kaiser roll, a big Kaiser roll from my father. They would say a roll and a piece of store cheese, and they would point to the store cheese in a big wooden tub, and butter, the big tub of butter that he had turned upside down, taken a huge steel tongue that had a wire across it, put it like that over the butter, and pulled it. And he did that, making slices through it about that high, so that when it was back in the tub and in the case behind him, in the refrigerator case, if they asked for a piece of butter, he would cut like that, push the knife in, pull it out, and have a piece of butter to stick onto the Kaiser roll, and slice with a huge knife, slice a piece of store cheese that was really New York State cheddar, we call it today, but it's called store cheese in those days. And put the roll together, put it in wax paper, and they'd ask for a bottle of milk, and they'd pay for it, and it would be much cheaper than buying something in the ballpark. I remember sitting on the stoop of 883 Franklin Avenue and watching the fans go down to Ebbets Field many, many, many times.